Are you interested in being an in-house videographer that makes YouTube, Instagram, photography content like this, or this? Well, you've come to the right place, because even though I have a little bit of a bare bones setup, that is what I do for a living. I work for a company and I make their YouTube videos, their Instagram videos, and I do a lot of their photography. So in this video, I'm gonna take you around my studio, and you can kind of consider this as maybe an intermediate level setup. But we're gonna be covering the basics, so everything that you see here can be applied to bigger and smaller productions with more expensive or less expensive equipment. All right, so let's take a look first at the YouTube setup, which takes place right here in this cube, the cube. Some of the stuff here is by my design, but it's also by the company that I work for's design. So if there's anything weird in here, like these freaking sound dampeners, just don't worry about it. But all right, I think it's probably worth meeting the star of the show, which is the camera that I shoot with. I am a Canon user, so I'm currently shooting with the EOS R6 Mark II. It's a fantastic camera. I know that Mark III just came out and I really want it, but I'm not there just quite yet. I don't have a reason to buy it just yet. I can't justify it, but this camera works great. Shoots 4K, 60 frames per second, as well as I think 180 frames per second at 1080p. Or 720p, but it might be 1080p with no audio. Then we've got the lens here. It is the Canon EF 24-70 f2.8. It's cheaper than the RF lens. It's really crisp still, very versatile lens. Love this thing. Also, I've got the small rig cage on here as well, just in case I need to be mounting stuff on here. Then we've got this tripod here. It's nothing crazy. Coman. There's like a million tripod brands, but it's that one right there. And it does exactly what I need it to do. It's very smooth with the panning, very smooth with the tilting. I don't have like the arm, bar on it at the moment. And I've currently got this vertical camera mount because I was shooting some Instagram videos, but that just allows you to mount the camera vertically like that. So that's the A cam setup. Then we have a B cam setup here. I shoot all of my videos by myself. So I like to have a B cam for editing purposes, for the flow of the videos. It's nice to have multiple angles. But then I have it set up with a slider. Now this, I believe, is 120 inches. It comes with the mount and all this stuff. And I think this one, I bought it with a battery. And then this tripod came separately. Also, these arms came separately too. I think you can buy combos where they come together, but this one didn't. But this tripod is very similar to this one, but it's from the newer brand. Not sure. If I can find what the model's called, I'll let you know. But this slider is also from newer as well. And all the links for all this stuff will be in the description, so you can easily find those. Next, let's talk lighting. These days, I'm shooting with a Nanlite FS300B, the B standing for bi, because this is a bi-colored light. It can be warm or cold, depending on how you set it. I usually keep it in the middle, around between 4,800 and 5,200 Kelvin. But the 300 is very nice, especially for this like enclosed area where I have no external light basically affecting my scene. It's nice to have that very bright, punchy key light right there. And I forgot to mention, although y'all videographers knew what this was already, but this is our key light, the Nan. It's currently set to only 70% because it's nice and bright. We've got an angular, quick open 36-inch softbox on the front there. And I believe I've taken out the interior diffusion. Yep, to make sure it's just, maximum brightness. And that's shining right here onto my table. And this is where I stand in the videos. I've got this LED. It's a newer smart metal LED. Got these off of Facebook Marketplace. This one splashes light onto the back. And then this is my hair light. Get that ripped. It's a little bit warmer and only at half power because it's just accenting my head on the side. Obviously, I'm super blown out right now, but I look like I'm baking in the desert right now. I'm gonna turn this off so I don't have to freaking die in heat. Now we can talk audio and I can address these Johns. My company bought these. Maybe they thought they would be bigger. I've used it when doing voiceover. I've like pushed them together and made them like a V shape and had like the mic in the middle so I could have like a semi-enclosed space for doing voiceover, but they don't really do much for this space. They don't really change anything, but I have them, so I have them set up, because why not? But I also have these set up. These are just moving blankets, and I could just have those there as is, but to get a little bit more extra light bounce going on in here, I've put these diffuser scrims. Now, that's not what you use a diffuser for, and that's correct. I personally don't have a very clear use of these scrims at the moment, and I wanted to brighten up the wall a little bit so that the light that I am adding in here is bouncing around a little bit and the ambient light in this room is like raised just that little bit more. So I figured they'd be better used on the wall right now. But that's the sound dampening going on. And then we also have our shotgun mic here. It is pointed, you know, roughly over where I stand, just out of the frame. This is a Sennheiser mic, and I'll make sure to show what model that is. It is on a boom pole, and you can see that this is kind of a little bit of a jerry-rigged setup here, but I really needed the mic to be coming in from out of the frame, like on a 90-degree angle. I didn't want it like coming in or down on an angle because then it would be in the shot. So I've got just like a normal light stand here. I've got a either a small rig or a newer clamp John. And then this is a Rode boom pole. It gets about a third more longer than this, and it's actually been a great pole to have. I bought it while I was in college and film school, and I used it a few times on personal projects and some school projects, but then it ended up kind of just sitting in my basement for a long time until I got this job and I had this need to get the mic in on a better angle. I was using this for a while, which just is kind of like a normal mic stand, and it works great for small little setups. It gets taller than this too, but it can only go this long. That's as long as the pole is. We've got the mic hooked up by the XLR cable down into our recording device, which is a Zoom H5 recorder. Realistically, I think before upgrading my camera and the lens, I'll probably upgrade my audio recorder, because audio recorders have become a lot cheaper over the years, and a lot of them double as both portable recorders and like audio interfaces that you can plug into your computer. This one does do that, but it's obviously designed to be more of like a handheld, on the go, like video recording audio device. But I think it's Zoom. Yeah, I got my eyes on another Zoom recorder right now. It's like 200 bucks. It kind of looks like a mixed pre-recorder a little bit. So I've been shooting some of my videos, as you've seen, at home, and I used the Zoom H5 because that is my recorder. That's a thing. Some of this stuff isn't mine. Some of it is. It's kind of all mixed together. But I've been using that, and it's okay, but it's not designed to be recording like directly into a computer. And before I forget, the B cam. So this is also something that is the company camera. It's not mine, but it's the Sony ZV-E10 4K camera. It works great on the slider because it's really not heavy at all, though it still weighs the the slider down, and that's why I needed to get these like support beams. But that shoots 4K 30. It's an APS-C sensor, but still great. At least great for my purposes as a B camera for a not so complicated setup. So anyways, that is the YouTube room. I stand right here at this table talking about topics that involve my job. Next, let's cover the photography area. And this has been a work in progress, but we finally have this. And for look, I'm trying not to be self-deprecating. I'm a one-man band who's trying to figure things out on my own, and I work with people who don't know what they're doing in regards to this stuff either. Not a dig, it's just a fact. So this setup it's taken a while to get here, but it's finally working for what we need it to. We take model photos sometimes. We take photos of very large objects that we sell. So it's been hard to have a setup that can accommodate those large items. Also, we do sometimes shoot videos in front of the white background as well. So you need to be able to fit a whole arse person in front of the setup as well. And we've iterated mostly between like fabric white backgrounds, but it's really difficult to get one that's this big. Specifically this wide, but also one that goes this far along the floor. Let me get another angle here so you can really kind of more appreciate the size of this. It's taller than me by at least like 2.5 feet, and it's certainly a lot longer than me as well. The problem with the fabric background that we were having as well was that not only was it not super wide on the background, but I had to make like basically a white, it's kind of hard to explain, but they were these big pieces of white plastic, and I laid them on the floor, and I was basically trying to create a white colored hard floor and basically hide the transition between the white fabric backdrop and the white floor. If I have any like pictures or video like showing that, I'll put it up on the screen now. But look, this is just perfect. It's nice and big on the bottom. OMG, I'm actually just remembering now, that's the white board right there. They're like plastic and they're not made for the purposes that I use them. Now they serve as like a new foundation for the photography backdrop because, look, I feel like I've explained this in a different video. If not, I will. But the flooring in here, it's these like, just these foam like squares, and they've just been horribly conducive to photography and video work for me. This required a sturdy, solid ground. So I ripped these up, but all that's here is just the baseboard, which is not flat at all. There's millions of micro grooves and divots, and I couldn't just drape the paper backdrop onto that. So I have repurposed the plastic to be a somewhat flat surface for the paper to lay on. And maybe now you can see how this has been it's been a long process to get to this point. But basically, I bought these 300Bs to be the lighting for this backdrop. I've also been using them to shoot the YouTube videos, but I got these and these 55-inch angler boom boxes so that, you know, the light can spread nice and evenly on the backdrop. And I know that for photography, like flash is obviously like the majorly preferred way to go about it, but I'm a videographer. I know continuous light the best. And we've recently talked with a photographer that's gonna come and work with us who will be suggesting equipment for us to use for photography, and we'll definitely be getting some strobe lighting in here. But I'm also have occasionally had to shoot video with this backdrop. So to me, it seemed like the best way for me, someone who has experience with continuous lighting and who needs to shoot videos, I just basically got like the brightest one that we could reasonably afford because we had to get 2 of them. So now I use those to light the backdrop, and these are the old lights that I used to use. They are the Godox SL 100 watt bicolor lights, and they're not bad lights, but they're not powerful enough. Like, they're just really not. If you're shooting in an enclosed space, maybe these could work for you, but in the cube and with this big open area, like, these are just not, they're not it, fam. They're not it. So I've replaced those with the Nan lights for lighting the backdrop, and now I use these 2 basically as key lights for the photography and video in front of this. Say that they're still pretty underpowered even for that, but they're kind of powerful enough for what I need, especially because I have these 2 big LED fixtures on the ceiling, which helps with the lighting. And if I shoot without these big soft boxes and instead, it's late in the day. What time is it? Okay, I have to leave in 20 minutes. I light into these big diffuser panels. I just put that in front of here. I know it's big. I know it's big. I don't know why I got that big one. Whatever. That is pretty much good enough for what I need at the moment until we build out more photography space in the future. And that's pretty much it. That's like all of the equipment I mostly have at my disposal. I've got a couple other odds and ends. Like, this is like kind of like a mini version of this, like a continuous backdrop. I just used the used paper from this here. It needs to be replaced because the ceiling's leaking, but that's good for filming and taking photos of small objects right there. I've got a little green screen set up, like, available if needed. I've got this orrery device that is able to shoot pictures of small objects as well, and that's hooked up to my computer. Yes, this is also a weird setup, I know. Like, I'm working with what we got. I usually use that as my preview monitor when I'm editing, and that one's used for the timeline. Yeah, not the best setup, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's basically it. If you guys want a video also in the future, like a what's in my bag video, we can talk about what's in my bag and what bag I use. I have to travel with some stuff home and back every day because I use some of my own equipment. But otherwise, that's the rundown. Thanks for watching. I hope you got anything out of that. I hope that has given you some ideas of equipment that you can purchase, things that you can achieve with higher and lower level equipment. And it kind of just gives you a little bit of an insight of the job that I have. I'll do probably a deeper dive into what I do for this job, like on the day-to-day, like the actual tasks that I have at hand. But basically, for many factors, I am the only person right now who is working on the video production here at this company. It's not the highest like priority at the company, but this, as an entry level, this job has served its purpose. I've learned some stuff. I get to shoot videos, which is always great. Stay tuned for some more content about videography very soon. And remember, at the end of the day, just roll with it.